Good afternoon, folks. This is my first video. I am here to discuss a building material that I use for my miniatures gaming constructions, as well as my first video for YouTube, just to see what I need to do, what I need to work on, how I need to get the camera set up, and to test everything out. So let's get on with it. A material that probably most of you are not familiar with is called PVC foam board. It's used primarily in advertising companies for standees and signs, and it can be a little pricey. The price is going to vary depending on where you go to get it. I was lucky. I found a company on eBay a few years back that was liquidating their supply of it because they were no longer going to be carrying it. You might be lucky enough to find it in a hobby store. That was where I first encountered it, but the hobby store was selling it in incredibly small sheets of some of the thinner stuff. Now it comes in a variety of colors, pretty much any color, red, blue, black, green, yellow, the whole gambit. It comes in different thicknesses. This gray piece that I have is actually 1/8 inch thick. The white piece is 1/4 inch thick. It is incredibly durable. It's essentially PVC like they use for making plumbing pipes, but it's been whipped into a foam and put into a mold to make it into a flat sheet. Because of that, it is extremely light for what you would expect it to be. It's incredibly durable because it's PVC, and because it's PVC, you can paint directly onto it. So there's no need to go ahead and coat it with glue or acrylic paint or anything to protect it from spray paint. You can just paint straight onto it with primer, use all of your colors, the whole 9 yards. Now, everything that I do with this stuff could be done with foam board or cardboard or whatever your chosen building material is. I just use this stuff because I generally want something that's going to be more lasting, and because there's just so much applicable use for this. Now, the piece that I have here, you can see, was originally a square that I cut out on my tabletop bandsaw. You don't need a tabletop bandsaw to cut this stuff. I just did that because it took me like 3 seconds to do it on the tabletop bandsaw. You can actually use a small hand hobby saw if you wanted to. I do not advise this under any circumstances, but you can, if you're very careful and patient with it, use a hot wire cutter like you use for cutting foam to cut shapes out of. That's essentially what I did here. Was I traced a circle on it and sat there with a hot wire cutter slowly cutting around the edges of it until I got the circle cut out for another project that I'm working on. So what I want to show you with this project is that the foam core, or the PVC foam board, is cuttable or carvable like basswood is, and I'm showing you this as the first video because I want you to see how I did this particular technique, because you're going to see it in some of the tutorials and stuff that I have coming up, and this will save me time if I just show you on this piece and don't have to take you through the whole 9 yards on the other projects. This piece, you can see I've got a little bit here cut off, but you can see that it is a flat section here. There's a straight edge here. What you're going to do for the technique that I'm using is I go ahead and I cut out small sections here to break up this edge. I want to make sure that it's not exactly straight because I'm going for a urban rubble type look here. It's also usable for Arctic snow or some broken up like sandstone or something in nature. You can do a whole variety of things with it, but I have it here and you can see that it's not straightly cut. It's very irregular. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is take and cut notches in it here. Sorry, it's a little shakier than I'd like it to be because I'm trying to do this for a video camera instead of just doing this for myself. But I'm cutting these notches in it, and I'm being kind of aggressive. Now, this stuff is great if you're a Warhammer 40k fan, or if you're doing some sort of ruined buildings or urban terrain especially for like a World War II scene. Now, looking at the bottom of it, you can see the notches that I've cut. And I'm not going to worry about that top edge for the shot just yet, but you can see the notches that I've cut are all cutting it into this edge side. Now I'm going to take some more and cut them on this top edge corner. And I usually do the cuts in 2 stages. The first stage is the primary cut, like I'm doing here, where I do the primary cut of the breakup. And it's probably going to be a little bit too many cuts on this particular piece, but I'm doing this to show you how this works. Okay, so you can see I've got all these little notches on the top. Now, of course, this doesn't really look like broken terrain or broken concrete just yet, because the notches are very much 90-degree angles and don't really look like breaks or cracks. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this chisel tight-bladed X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut into these so that instead of just being a straight wedge cut at each one of those breaks, it actually goes into the top side of the sidewalk. Those are real easy to do because it adds in more angles. It's going to look really nice when you paint it up because it's going to give you more of a varied surface, so that when you dry brush these, you get a lot more effect. And as I said, anything I do here you can do with cardboard or regular foam core. You can get a little fancy. You can have a Bob Ross moment if you want. And as you can see, I've got one wedge here. Now you can go ahead and add in get that right there. Now, as you can see, it really breaks up the surface a lot more. And I've already done that along this edge. So if you wanted to do a tile like this, now you'd have a tile to place something on for an urban damage setting. I could do the same thing on the inside here if I wanted to break it up. Though if I was going to break it up, I would probably go ahead and take this circle and expand on it in some areas to get rid of the roundness to make it into a broken tile. But you can see the great effect that has, and in some of the later stuff that I'll show you, you can see that it really does paint up nicely when you do this, because you have a lot of surface that a two-stage dry brushing really makes the pieces pop out. This technique that I used to make some masterpieces to make molds out of. And some of the mold stuff that I did, you're going to see some of the stuff in later tutorials, but using this technique I made all kinds of little rubble pieces. The exact same technique, just doing it on smaller pieces. And using these, I can pretty much mass produce them as much as I want, toss them up in my Etsy store, sell extras, whatever. It's a great deal of fun. It really does help bring out some of the urban decay feel. Like I said, doing this, you can actually carve these And the resin pieces that I did for a figure that I have, I could have painted up as tundra or any number of other things. Basically, the things that you're going to see in the upcoming videos are, and I'm surprised that this video is actually taking me so long to do, because I can't stress enough how great this material is and how much you can actually do with it. For Doctor Who fans, I'm doing a Dalek patrol ship. This is the walking platform for the Daleks to sit on, and it's made out of the PVC foam board. I just got to go ahead and make another mold because the original one I did didn't turn out so well because I was using press mold material instead of an actual pourable latex mold. But there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. You can do the building walls like I have here. You can do sidewalks. You can do rubble. Like I said, I'm using it for a crater project that I'm working on. So there's a ton of stuff that you can do, and I will be showing you more of this stuff soon. Talk to you guys later. Bye.